Good morning, Patagonia. We're gonna go right down where we have an incredible view of the glacier, hearing ice cracking and creaking and groaning and splashes into the water. It's Torres del Paine National Park. We have made it to Punta Arenas. Land ho! There it is, Tierra del Fuego. We are at a penguin colony.
I've never driven coast to coast in less than an hour.
You are clear to pass, hammer down. For 18 months, we've been driving south from Dead Horse, Alaska to Ushuaia, Argentina.
We did it!
We made it. We are in Ushuaia now. Yes, we went top to bottom from Dead Horse, Alaska to Ushuaia, Argentina.
They say it's the greatest road trip on earth. I believe them.
So we looked on our map and the road keeps going. The end of the road, as far south as we can take it. Wow, we've gone nearly halfway around the world.
So from here on out, we're northbound.
Northbound, wow, that sounds weird. All right, another exciting stop. Today we're at the Perito Moreno Glacier. This is a massive glacier complex that we are gonna be able to hike down and go get, from what I hear, pretty dang close to the toe of the glacier. And if we're lucky, we might even see it calving off in a few places. All right, we parked up above, then we jumped on a shuttle bus, and then we rode that over here to where these boardwalks start. And I guess we're gonna go right down where we have an incredible view of the glacier. We're seeing some of the first fall color of the year. Seems kind of weird to see it in February, but we are in the southern hemisphere, so here it is. And the lower we get, the closer we get. The trees are thinning out, so you get a better view. And there is a lot of activity. I'm hearing ice cracking and creaking and groaning and splashes into the water. The glacier is just magical. We've been standing here for over an hour just watching it calve off in different places. But I can tell you, if you come here, you're gonna see some big chunks of ice fall off into the water, and it is very powerful. This is a really cool place, and it was a really worthy stop. Let's keep going southbound. Good morning, Patagonia, Argentina. We had a windy but cold night out here in the plains. We're out here, it's, as you can see, here, let me show you. It is just kind of like flat plains. We can see all the way to Fitzroy from here, which was kind of neat to see it on the horizon. Last night it was windy as anything. It was rocking the van, but you know what? We stayed warm. We had our Timberline diesel heater cranked up. It was awesome. So I got a lot of work done last night, and this was actually a really nice place to camp with some beautiful views. Also, there's a local dog who's kind of hung out with us this whole time. He's gotten a few hot dogs and some chicken and various things from us. We feel kind of bad. He's just sleeping out here in the sagebrush at night, but he seems very well prepared for it. Seems like this is what he does. This is his environment. And we've enjoyed getting to see him too. He just, every time we open the door, he kind of barks a little bit, and then he looks at us and he wags his tail. But it's been almost like he's been guarding us all night long. It's been really cool. Every time I look out the window, he's just kind of like out there looking back at us, wondering what we're doing. You know, it's different down here. You see a lot of these dogs that are kind of almost like community dogs. It's like the whole area takes care of them, feeds them, gives them water, and the dogs just roam around and go wherever they want to go. So the other day we found a really nice grocery store. We stocked up on groceries and that was wonderful, but there's always a problem. So we are now crossing back into Chile and we didn't realize we were gonna be crossing so soon. And we have all these groceries and Chile does not let you bring fruits, vegetables, meat, really a lot of things across the border. So I think even though we only have a couple of hours to the border, we're gonna hang out an additional day and try to eat some of this food we bought and kind of recoup our investment. So we're gonna go, I don't know, 2 hours down the road and then we're gonna find a place to camp not far from the border. And we'll have a big feast today, try to eat all this food that we would have to throw away. And then we'll cross the border tomorrow. And then we're on to a really cool place. All right, let's go towards Chile, but let's not cross the border yet. Well, it's another border crossing day. Here we are going from Argentina to Chile. We're going over towards Torres del Paine National Park. It's gonna be really spectacular. And I don't know, I'm losing count of how many times I've crossed from Argentina to Chile and Chile to Argentina, but we're running out of pages in our passport. We really, when we get back, we're gonna have to get new passports just because we're out of space. But here we go, we'll see how this one is. Hopefully it's really chill. There it is. We're stamped out, vehicle stamped out. We're ready to go to Chile. Now from our experience, Chile has been the harder of the two, or maybe not the harder, but the more stringent upon what we can bring into the country, meaning all our fruits and vegetables and meats. They don't like that. So we end up throwing away a bunch of stuff. And that's why last night we spent an extra night just so we could eat the food that we bought. But here we go. We'll see what they flag this time and what we have to get rid of, but we don't have a lot at this point. All right, we are in Chile now. We just have to go through the official avenues here of getting our passport and our vehicle temporarily imported. Tell me in the comments down below, are you guys tired of seeing border crossings? So we've showed you every one from Alaska down, and I don't know, it seems like to me a lot of them start to get very similar. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I know some people, ourselves included, in like Central America, we really wanted to see videos of what the crossings were like because we were a little nervous about them. But here in Chile to Argentina, it's pretty chill. But maybe you guys like that. So let me know in the comments down below. But here we go. We're gonna go in here, get checked in. This is kind of a small border station. Okay, we filled out the form. Now we just have to have our vehicle inspected and we're off. Really, all these border crossings are so similar. There's been a few weird deviations in different countries, but for the most part, it's pretty simple. We made it into Chile. They took, let's see, our avocados, our lemons, our oranges, our chicken that we just bought, a bunch of stuff. We just had poor planning on this border crossing. We thought, honestly, we had a few more days than we did before we got here, and we just bought too many groceries. But right down the road is Puerto Natales. That'll be our next stop. I've got to find a couple of fuses, and we'll probably hit a grocery store there, and we'll resupply. But we don't want to do too much because who knows when we're going to be crossing again. So we're going to try to travel a little light through this section. We're waiting right now for Jorge. He had to do one more form and then he should be coming along shortly. Oh, I almost forgot to say, welcome to Chile. Well, we've made it. We are parked here on this beautiful grass. It literally looks like a golf course grass. It is so smooth and even. And right here is Torres del Paine National Park. This is one of the crown jewels of Patagonia. It is a beautiful place. And we are right now on the outsides of the park. So this is a free camp spot, just like we like it, but right next to the goods. And who knows, maybe this is the real goods because right now we have this whole place to ourselves and it is beautiful. So let's take a look here around this beautiful campsite on the fringe of Torres del Paine National Park. All right, we just woke up this morning and wow, look at this. We've got tour buses, all kinds of people taking selfies, and they're all in our campsite. How crazy is that? I guess that's what happens when you camp in a mirador in Patagonia, especially in Torres del Paine National Park, overlooking the big grand towers. So this isn't our quietest campsite we've had, but it certainly worked last night. Last night we went and saw some mountain cats, some pumas, or mountain lions as we call them back up north. And we saw one. It was really cool. We drove this dirt road, cruised around right at sunset, and sure enough, there was a puma right there stalking a guanaco on the side of the mountain. It was awesome to see. All right, let's look around here for a minute. So it's common throughout Patagonia to find these little wind shelters. I don't know if these are bus stops or what their original function is, but the bicycle travelers use these all the time to camp in, to get out of the wind. And of course, they're covered in stickers from all the overland travelers that have come before us. And looky here, we found our friends Overland for Good, found their sticker right here. We have made it to Punta Arenas. So Punta Arenas here is considered one of the most southern cities in the whole wide world. It's also considered a gateway to the Antarctic. A lot of these ships we see out here are probably heading south to Antarctica, especially some of these cruise ships that we're seeing. Punta Arenas is also way more of a bustling city than I imagined. There's a lot going on here. You can find about any modern convenience you could ever want. And there's even a Mercedes shop here in Punta Arenas. Across the street here, I'm seeing BF Goodrich tires, KO2s. Man, this is like a mega shopping center that I'm in. It's like half mall, but there's a lot of freestanding stores. And it seems like you can get about anything you want down here. We've made it to the ferry terminal here at Punta Arenas. We just kind of got this lot here to park in for the night, which is going to be great, but it is pretty crowded. And we kind of got lucky and somebody pulled out right as we pulled in. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had anywhere to park. Right where we're parked is behind the Frisca. This is a Chilean torpedo boat. And at 9 a.m., we're going to be queuing up over here to catch the ferry. Okay, nothing like waking up first thing and jumping in a line with a bunch of trucks for a ferry. That's exactly what's happening right now. We're waiting in line. Hopefully we're gonna board here soon. Everyone is jockeying for position to get onto this ferry, so we figured we better get in the queue ourselves. It's really windy this morning. It could be a rough ride crossing the Straits of Magellan, but nothing's gonna keep us from going southbound. That is until we run out of land, which is gonna happen in a couple of days. There it is. This right here is our ferry ship, the Patagonia. We're just waiting to be boarded. They're kind of slowly boarding at this point. They put a few trucks on, a few motorcycles, but I imagine it's going to kick into full gear here in just a minute. There are 2 ferries a day, at least for this time of year, that go across the Straits of Magellan. I always like walking the decks of the boat and seeing everything I can see while we're on the ferries. And so it's going to be a little chilly this morning. Here we go. I'm going to get back to the van so I'm ready to load when the guy gives me the nod. Well, we've made it aboard. Feels good to be on another ferry. They're loading in the last vehicles right now. This trip across the Straits of Magellan on this ferry is going to cost us about $75 for 2 people plus our van. Pretty good value. It's going to take us roughly 2 hours, and it's going to take us to Tierra del Fuego. That sounds really exotic to me, and it is the bottom of South America, so we're getting close. All right, we're going to look around the ferry boat a little bit. So we are crossing the Straits of Magellan. This is about 350 miles long, and it's about, 1.2 miles wide at its narrowest point. And this is a key passageway for boats going from the Pacific to the Atlantic, because it allows them to avoid the terribly rough seas that are off the very southern tip of South America.
I see whales. I think they're humpbacks right there.
We are seeing tons of whales. They are all over this area. They're spouting all around us. Land ho! There it is, Tierra del Fuego. We said the early explorers that came down here, they saw fires burning on the coast. And as they floated by, they didn't know what it was, but they thought maybe it was hostile natives that had made these fires. And it turns out, I think they were right, but they were more like campfires because it's so cold down here. They would have fires burning to keep warm. And that's how it's got its name. Or at least that's the story I heard. But we're almost there. And this is gonna be our most southern point that we can get to. Now, Tierra del Fuego is a large place, so we're gonna cross it and we are gonna go to the end. Gosh, it is starting to feel like we're getting to the end of this southbound journey. And look at us. We're all bundled up. It's still summer here in South America, but this very much feels like being in Alaska in the North American summer, and it feels nice and cool. Super, super exciting. This has been a wonderful ferry ride. We've seen elephant seals. We've seen hundreds, if not thousands of whales, and it's been a really scenic trip. Well, we are here. We have arrived. We gotta get back to the van in time to hopefully not slow them down getting all the vehicles off of here. It feels really wild to be on Tierra del Fuego. What a place. And we just crossed the Straits of Magellan. Wow, I feel like an explorer. First stop here in Tierra del Fuego, we are at a penguin colony where we're gonna get to see, photograph, hang out with some king penguins. Look, it's a penguin. We are here at Parque Pinguino Rey. This is kind of not far from where the ferry dropped us off, maybe 45 minutes or so. And I can see from here where these groups are going, and there are penguins. I see them. Looks like they're in a grassy area. Isn't really my thought of penguins. I always think of them as like standing on ice. But obviously there is no ice right here because, you know, we're in the land of fire. It's going to be cool to see penguins. This is going to probably change my whole mental idea of what penguins are like and what they are. But these are the king penguins, the second to largest penguins that there are. So should be cool.
I don't know if you know this, but I see penguins right there.
Really? Right there?
Yeah, they're like right behind you. Turn around.
I saw them already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they're cool.
All right, we are in a group of about 22 people, and we are walking down a path to see the king penguins. I'm so excited. They are just ahead of us, and the law here in Chile says that you have to stay about 40 meters away from the penguins. I don't know if you can see that, but there are a gazillion of them. They are so funny. They're waddling around and flapping their flippers and kind of posturing with each other. They're super interesting to watch. So there are about 40 breeding pairs of king penguins here in this area. And this is a private conservation area where the landowner noticed that people were kind of harassing the king penguins here and putting hats on them and hugging them and stealing their eggs. And so they decided to not let people come on their private property anymore. Started charging visitors to come in. It's $17 a person to come visit here. It's a private conservation where researchers and scientists come down and study their behavior, and all of the visitor entrance fees are used to protect and research these fantastic creatures. King penguins spend most of their time in the water. They come ashore once a year to molt. It takes them about 3 weeks to replace their feathers. Or they come ashore to have babies, and it takes them about a year to raise their babies until they're big enough to have waterproof feathers to go out and join the rest of the penguins in the sea.
Well, that was a great welcome to Tierra del Fuego. We saw penguins on our first day. So cool. And it's really hard to imagine these kind of animals just in the wild because it's so foreign to us in North America unless you're in a zoo or at a movie theater watching Happy Feet. So very cool. We're off to a really good start here, and I think we've got a lot more to see, do, and explore. Let's keep going southbound. Good morning, Tierra del Fuego. It is beautiful out today. Blue skies, a little bit of puffy clouds. You can see the ocean over here. But it is windy. It was a windy night last night. We stayed here at this. Basically, they have these refuges that are public places with a little building that anyone who's traveling through can go and use these buildings. They usually have a table, a bed. Sometimes they have a wood stove in them and a bathroom. So a lot of people who are just traveling through in cars will spend the night in these, kind of like a hotel. This one maybe holds, oh gosh, if you slept on the floor and you had everybody piled in there, it can maybe hold 6 to 8 people, I'm guessing, comfortably. And there was a whole crew in there. There's actually some people in a van that ended up staying in there, it seemed like. Where I think this is really key is for the people on motorcycles or bicycles who are doing this trip. It gives them a place to get out of the elements and stay somewhere, but not have to be in a hotel or a motel or something like that. So let's come over here. I'm going to take you and show you what it looks like. Okay, right in here is the bathroom, but behind this door is the refuge. So we've got a table with a bench. Nice windows that actually open. Looks like there was a wood stove in here at one point, but it's missing a piece of its spout for the chimney. Be nice if that was still functioning, but it's not. And then there's a ladder here. And let's see, I'm gonna go up the ladder and show you. And basically up here, it is just a platform with places you could throw out a sleeping bag and a sleeping pad. I don't know, this could sleep 4 people if you guys were friends and cozy, or it would be pretty epic for 2. But just simple plywood walls. They're varnished and finished, so they're pretty nice. And then beautiful like double pane windows in here. And hey, look, here's a sticker from our friends Overland for Good. That's awesome. They were here too. This is a really cool thing that is available for people. It's just kind of maintained by whoever comes here. There's a broom here, and I guess they encourage you to leave it cleaner than you found it, which I think is a great idea. Pretty amazing to be able to be in these wild regions and have a place to stay, especially if you're on a motorcycle or a bicycle. Heck, some people even walk through here. Okay, so there it is, the cool little refuge. There's a trash can here. It's a little overflowing right now, so we're not going to leave any of our trash, but I assume someone from the local government comes and picks that up. And then right here is the old refuge. Now I guess this is what I just showed you is the new and improved, and this is the original. Pretty ancient looking bunk beds, one window. Same fate to the wood stove, which is just a barrel. And it has a hole in the roof where there used to be a chimney. It's no longer there. And a little simple wooden table. So this would be a great place to get out of the wind. If you were out here and it's blowing really hard, it would be a welcome relief, but it's not near as nice as the other one. This one kind of gives me jail cell vibes. So I think I'm getting out of here. All right, now we are on Tierra del Fuego and we are not far from the end of the road at Ushuaia. But we are in Chile right now and we have to switch over into Argentina. So about 45 minutes down the road, we have a border crossing and we're hoping they don't take all of our food again. So let's do it. Let's go southbound. I'm not gonna be able to say that for much longer, but let's go southbound and let's get into Argentina. All right, here we are. Chile to Argentina bound. Boom, we are checked out of Chile. We are now short drive over to Argentina. We do it all over again. Argentina! We're seeing, oh gosh, huge potholes. We gotta slow this train down. All right, here we are, the Argentina border. Wow, that sign is covered in a lot of stickers. These are all from overland travelers. A lot of motorcycle guys here, but wow, that's a lot of stickers. All right, there it is. We are now into Argentina again. I don't know if you guys have seen this. A lot of times Kathy's carrying this. This is our folder that has all of our important papers in it. We keep it in this binder. It makes it really easy when we're crossing borders to just grab it and have everything we need. It's our registration, our titles, any paperwork from the previous countries, insurance, all that kind of stuff lives in this folder. And then we keep it in a safe place in the van, but yet we can always put our hands right on it and get whatever we need.
Sharp right. In 100 meters at the roundabout, take the second exit.
We have to stop right here.
This morning we were camped on the Pacific Ocean. Right now, right out there is the Atlantic Ocean. I have never driven coast to coast in less than an hour.
I cleared the pass after that white car.
You were clear to pass, hammer down. There is one dark colored car on the horizon here, but I think you got plenty of time.
That I see him.
We're really happy and excited that we have brand new radios installed in both of our Revel vans. These are the Midland MXT575s. This is a 50-watt GMRS radio.
So this is the next to the last town on the journey. It's not much of a town. There's a gas station. I think that's about it. Some cabins. This is it. Next one's Ushuaia.
For 18 months, we have been driving south from Dead Horse, Alaska to Ushuaia, Argentina. Well, we are about 90 kilometers away right now. Wow, look at these views. This is beautiful. We're not too far from Ushuaia now. We made it. We are in Ushuaia now. This is what we thought was the end of the road, but this is a big milestone. But we're here. We're at the bottom of the world.
Top to bottom, we did it.
Yes, we went top to bottom from Dead Horse, Alaska to Ushuaia, Argentina. Whew, what a road trip it is. If you really want a good road trip that'll satisfy your hankering for a road trip, this is the one.
They say it's the greatest road trip on earth, and I believe them.
It's the greatest road trip we've ever done. We've done a lot of road trips. So we're super stoked to be here. This hasn't even sunk in yet into what this is, what this means. And we've seen a million great things along the way. And like everyone always says, it's about the journey, not the destination, but it's really about all the places that we've seen and the people we've met and the adventures we've had getting here.
But you know what? It's not over yet. We still have a little bit of road left to go.
So we looked at our map and the road keeps going. We are gonna keep going on down to where this road actually you can't drive anymore. And so we're gonna check that out. Well, here we are, the end of the road, as far south as we can take it. We are so stoked. We have made it. This is our furthest point that we're gonna go on this Southbound series. It kind of seems crazy. I have been talking about this for almost 2 years, and here we are. We're at the end of South. We have driven over 40,000 miles to get here. That includes our trip up to Alaska and then down south all the way to the tip of Argentina here. We've been through so many different climates. We've seen so many different animals. We've met so many cool people, travelers and locals in the places that we've been to. It's pretty amazing how a trip like this will just open your mind to what the world really is and what people are really like. It breaks down stereotypes and all kinds of things. And boy, we just are so grateful that we've done this. And we can't believe that, we look at the map and you look at a globe and we think, wow, we've gone nearly halfway around the world. Many people call this the world's greatest road trip. And I haven't done all the road trips in the world to know for sure, but this has been pretty dang great.
So we have been on the road now for 606 days.
Wow.
And that, if you want to do the math, is 1 year, 7 months, and 26 days. That's when we left our favorite place of Buena Vista, Colorado, and we drove all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk.
Okay.
And then to Dead Horse, and now here we are in Tierra del Fuego at the southern end of the world.
The end of the road, as they call it.
It's the end of the road, and that's a lot of time to be away from our families and our friends and, our country.
Yeah, it is. A lot has changed.
A lot has changed. And I was just thinking about how different we are after this trip. We left on this journey, I think, wanting to do the greatest road trip on earth. It seemed like a really audacious, exciting thing to accomplish.
Yeah.
I just think travel changes you. It makes your mind elastic and younger, makes you see the world in a totally different way. And
it definitely does.
Yeah.
We've seen countries that we couldn't even tell you one fact about them until we got here.
I mean, to me, I think the greatest thing that I've learned on this trip is how amazing the people are in Latin America.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, I was a little bit fearful as we crossed our southern border. I was worried about cartel and criminals and people robbing us and all kinds of things. And we couldn't have had a more opposite experience of that.
Yeah.
All the people that we met wanted to help us and feed us and take care of us and show us their beautiful countries. And, that's something that you can't really learn any other way than experiencing it. And I'm so incredibly grateful that we got to have that experience.
Me too.
So, I mean, how do you feel at the end of the road here? What are your thoughts?
It's funny. We've asked other travelers that have been down here already and they're going back north, what did it feel like when you got there? Was it amazing or what? And a lot of them are like, it was kind of anticlimactic in that they got down here and yeah, they thought it was great. But what they realized, and I think what we're realizing as well, is it's not about the destination. It's not like, oh, we've done it, check that off, we've completed the mission. It's like, where are we going next? Because I sure do like what we're doing. I like the exploration, I like meeting new people, I like the learning, I like everything about it, being in these wonderful places. And just because now we've made it to Ushuaia or the end of the road here, it's not over, And that's kind of weird, when you think that maybe you're going to be at this big aha moment and you're not. But, I don't know. I think that's the big takeaway, is that these types of experiences, you learn so much and you want to keep learning. You want to keep seeing things. You want to keep growing as a person. And it's not about just ticking off the box and going home and sitting in the rocking chair. For us, it's about what's next and how can we take this and build on it for our next, whatever it is, and this can apply to more than just travel, but what is that next thing? And I think that's the thing we're thinking about most, is what's next. And what are we going to do with this knowledge we have, and what interests us next as travelers? You know, where do we want to go explore and see? So I don't know that we're ready to get into that right now, because that's a big topic and that's going to take some time to process all this and really decide where we want to go next.
I think that I am so filled with gratitude for this whole experience. I mean, I've learned so much and seen so much and experienced so much. And I hope that we have shared some of that with you guys.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
We want to thank you so much for joining us on this journey. We certainly couldn't have done it without you, and we have appreciated all of your comments and kind words and cheering us on when it was really hard.
Thank you.
So thank you to you for joining us on this journey, and we hope you stick with us as we continue somewhere over the horizon.
Yeah, you know, we're actually looking forward to going back to some of our favorite places in the US, because it's been almost 2 years since we've been to some of them or more. And, you know, I'm excited to go to some of those places and take what I've learned here and apply it to those places and just be in some good old favorite places, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, we definitely aren't done traveling. We've got a lot more stories to share here with you guys on YouTube, a lot more roads to drive. We're excited in what the future holds, and I think it's all good stuff. So yes, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for supporting our channel. Many of you guys are new to the channel since after we started this trip, and thank you for coming aboard. And thank you so much to our patrons. You guys are the ones who put fuel in the tank physically and metaphorically. Thank you so much for your support in so many ways. We love hearing your comments. We love answering your questions. And most of all, we're just so happy that you guys are along on this ride with us. If you want to find out more about our Patreon, click the link below, because we need all the support we can get. We've got some big dreams here, and we want to take you guys to some really wild and crazy places in the future.
So from here on out, we're northbound.
Northbound. Wow, that sounds weird.
So the important thing is, while this journey is over, it just means the next adventure is beginning.
That's true, and it's always an adventure with us. So here we go. Let's start it. How about in the morning?
Let's do it.
I guess that's it until we see you somewhere over the horizon. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.